I want to talk about that video that Weslie made and that she doesn't understand what's actually going on. And I feel that if her mother, Allison, wanted to truly protect her daughter, she would have never allowed her daughter to defend her or even made that video. And once she made that video, she would have made her take it down. Because as a child, regardless of what you hear or may not hear, you don't fully comprehend the situation that's going on. In your video, you stated that your mother did not say that Stephen was an addict.
Mom never said that Stephen was an addict. Let me say that. Never said that he was an addict. But if y'all want to take a headline for a news article and turn that into being the thing that you're paying attention to most, that's literally on you.
I had dealt with an ex that had addiction problems, and then I realized Stephen had addiction problems, and it's something that I kind of have been like, what, where was I involved in this? And I had to take some steps for myself to realize, like, I was able to help one, and I wish I could have been that for the other.
Right. He'd be open and vulnerable about him smoking weed. Also, my mom's not calling him a terrible person for smoking weed. Mom asked for NDAs to be signed when we were seeing Stephen's body, because God forbid somebody that went to that took a photo of Stephen and put it on the internet, or shared it with somebody else. That's the type of things that NDAs are for. It's not so you can never talk about Stephen. You can't ever talk about you grieving him. You can't post about it. That's not what it is. And for all the people saying it, I just feel like you're uneducated. She's still nice. She's still kind. She's still forgiving. But you have to know, like, even when Stephen was alive, people that attended our events, they would have to sign NDAs. But now, just because it's my mom handing the paper, y'all, like, it's different. And it's just annoying. It's just annoying.
She did state that he was an addict by saying that he was dealing with addiction. If a person is dealing with an addiction, that makes them an addict. Whether you actually use the word addict or not, she stated that he was dealing with an addiction that she could not help him with. She also stated that she found a cornucopia of drugs. And not only did she say that, she went on to list the drugs that she had found in his shoebox. Some she didn't even know what they were, so she had to look them up. Anyone who ever been around people who's doing drugs or know anything about drugs, it's a difference between a person casually smoking marijuana and a person using cornucopia amounts of drugs to the point that you have to look them up, to the point that you're calling them an addict, or saying that they're dealing with an addiction. That's calling them an addict. So as a person who's saying that they want to protect Stephen by having his family signing an NDA that they cannot take pictures because they're afraid that those pictures might get out into the world somehow, or they might share the pictures with someone. One thing you have to understand about Black people and funerals, when people die, some Black people, not all, but some Black people will actually take pictures of their loved one in the casket. They're not doing it to be malice. They're not doing it to hurt anyone. That's their last memory of that person. And sometimes they do it because there may be a family member, for whatever reason, they could not make it to the funeral. One question they always ask sometimes in Black families, how did they put him away? Did they put him away nicely? Oh, I wish I could have been there to see how they put him away. So that's why they take those pictures, to share them with other family members who may have not been able to make it to the funeral, so they can see that person, their loved one, in the casket. It's not, it's not done in malice or anything like that. I have seen other people, that I'm not related to, pictures of them, of their last moment in the casket, and they're showing how the funeral looked and different things like that. That may be something that as a white family they don't do, But that's something that Black people do. So to say to his family, to his mother, to his relatives that you cannot have that last memory of your child because we want an NDA sign, but then you're saying you're doing it to protect him, but then you turn around and put all his business out in the streets, stuff that you didn't even know about, Allison. As a woman, as his wife, he didn't even share that information with you. So what makes you think that he wanted to share it with the world, but you want to protect him? That's why an NDA was signed. And even when your daughter said when he was alive, in certain situations, he would have people signing an NDA. So when it dawned on you that I don't think Stephen would want this out there because he didn't even share it with me. And did you ever take the time to sit with his mother and say, hey, as I was, cleaning up, going through his stuff, getting clothes for his funeral, I came across this. What do you think? Have you seen this? Did you know anything about it? Did you sit down and share it with his mother, the woman who carried him for 9 months, the one who gave birth to him, the one who nurtured him? Did you even think to take time to share it with her? To get her opinion on what should or shouldn't happen with her son's information? Because regardless of you being his wife, that will always be his mother. She's still his mother. You're his widow, but that's still his mother. And she's still the mother of the grandmother of his kids. So you wasn't thinking about protecting him. You was thinking about yourself in all these situations. Because just like you said, when you found all that information, your friends said, hey, you should document this. So that was already in your mind. You said it wasn't, it was already in your mind. And you're saying, oh, I'm doing this, I'm writing the book because it could help other people. You could have still told Stephen's story without including the cornucopia of drugs that you found. You could have still told Stephen's story without mentioning that he alluded to being S8 as a child. You could have still told his story in a way that would have protected not only him, but his kids. You have to think about all the stuff you're putting out there. It's going to be out there when your kids actually grow up and become adults. And they may look back on that and be reminded that their father, according to his mother, according to their mother, according to you, his wife, you stated that he was an addict. You stated that he was dealing with so many demons that he had a cornucopia of drugs, to the point that he couldn't deal with it anymore, so he decided to take his own life. That's the picture you painted as his wife, as the mother of his kids. That is the picture you're painting to the world. And then you're saying, oh, read my book, you would see it's not like that. Why would I want to read your book? You already told me everything I needed to know. You already told the world that everything they needed to know. But you're doing this to protect him. His family couldn't take pictures because God forbid the pictures got out there into the world. But look what you put out there into the world. Look what you put in your snippets with People magazine, the articles you wrote, the videos you did with them. You put that out there. Not his family. You did that. His wife, the woman who was with him for all those years, but he still kept some secrets from you. So that should tell you something as far as how he looked at you, that he felt that he couldn't even be safe and open up to you, that he had to keep secrets, that he had to keep so many secrets. Because you're putting his secrets out there into the world now. You're not protecting him. You're not protecting his children. But somehow you felt that if, God forbid, a picture of him in a casket went out there. That's something that's normal to a lot of Black families. A lot of Black families, you open a picture book, a photo album, you might see a obituary. You might see next to that obituary a picture of a dead relative. That's something normal that Black people do. Some Black people, like I say, not all, but some. So to deny them of that because you're seeing I only did it because I'm trying to protect them. So you got to understand what a hypocrite you are, Allison. As his wife, you are a hypocrite because you're doing something that you're saying you was trying to that you was protecting him, and in reality, you're not protecting him. If you truly wanted to protect him, you wouldn't have said anything. If you truly wanted to help people, you would have told a story as a wife how it feels to deal with your husband's taking his life and how you have to move on with the children, how you have to do. That would still help a lot of people. You chose to give those details because you felt that it would make the book more juicy. That's the only reason you did what you did. And you're hurting his mother and his kids in the process. Your daughter don't understand what's going on. She don't truly understand the ramifications of your actions because you are her mother. So of course she's gonna try to protect her mother because she don't really know what's going on. But as an adult woman, think about his mother. That's still her child. That will always be her child. And she's looking at you're not protecting her child. The only thing you're doing is hurting his legacy, the same legacy that you claim that you want to protect.